Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cinephilia. It's Monday.
Hello.
And we're going to do part 2 of our year in review of 2020. How are you doing, Will? You ready for this?
I'm hearing a loop. Are you hearing a loop?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
I'm hearing everything that we say over and over again.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Is the chat hearing a loop as well?
Okay. How about now? Do you guys hear a loop? Do you hear a loop?
Maybe it was just my computer. I don't hear it now, so it's fine. Whatever it was.
Cool. Let's do it again.
Welcome to the show.
Wait, we'll do it again for YouTube because we have to edit this for YouTube. We don't want to. All right, ready? Hey, everybody, and welcome to Cinephilia. How's it going? Jesus Christ.
I feel like we shouldn't edit it. This is just how we are.
This is what it's
who
gonna
we
be.
are. Accept us as we are.
It's been a rough day. No good reason. Nothing bad happened. It's just one of those days where my body and my ADD and tiredness and it's not working with me today.
Yeah.
But I'm here. But we're here. No matter what, we're gonna be here.
We're here. We're ready to talk about movies. We're going to follow up last week's episode about the 2020 year in review. We're going to talk about some more 2020 movies because there actually were a lot that came out in 2020 to talk about. And we got lots of trailers and lots of news. So we are here and ready to go.
Cool. So do we want to start out with a little bit of news?
Yes,
let's do it. News on Cinephilia. Let's talk about this first one. So apparently, it looks like Chris Evans is reportedly in talks to reprise Captain America for the MCU.
Which is so funny to me because it's like him and Robert Downey Jr. were ready to be done for a bit and move on. And there's not been much moving on for Chris Evans. He's back already. I think it's funny.
I mean, here's a bunch of money. Do you want to come be a superhero? I feel like that's hard to turn down.
Yeah. I understand the want to be free to do other things because then you start to be, actors who play a certain character for a long amount of time start to get like stereotyped into that character. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that has already happened for Chris Evans. Like he not really done a lot outside of Captain America at this point.
And maybe he's fine with that. Maybe he's like, this is what it is. And he's just going to write this out for a while. And then maybe when he gets older, he'll play something else.
What do you, Reed H. Cooper says, maybe Chris Evans saw the roads Robert started taking. That's true. Not been good stuff. But how do you think Captain America will fit into the MCU at this point? Based on how it ended with Endgame and his character.
I mean, I feel if they're going to introduce the multiverse, like literally there's no limits to what they can do. It could just be another Captain America from somewhere else and be like, oh, look, that Captain America's fine. He didn't get old. And they'll just start over. I think it's pretty easy to just... They're going to have all kinds of like doors open to do whatever they want. So I think it should be fine. And I like him a lot. So I would be fine with him coming back. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun. My speculation, what I want to happen is for there to be a MCU Disney Plus show. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be a big movie, but a show following him, Steve, and Peggy during the time where he goes back, like before he comes back and he's all older. When he goes back and stays, they could show like their life together.
Yeah, because they could go on a bunch of adventures. They could go be, That's cool. I like that.
And Peggy Carter already has had a show that was successful. It didn't last as long as I thought it was going to be because the show was actually really good. And it's a character that is likable, and they have great chemistry together. So, I think that would be really cool to see.
Oh, I would love that. And it would still be within their own timeline and their own MCU, and it wouldn't break anything. Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. So let's see. It's rumor. It's not nothing.
Right.
So, but or it could be just, if any, it could just be a cameo for something. It could just be something small that maybe it's not that important, and it's just maybe a flashback or something weird where he might show up once or twice and then that's it. It might not be a major thing, so we don't know yet.
That's true. He might not even have a major role, and I'd be fine with that too if he's just there to keep continuity. Which, as you say, continuity could go any which way at this point.
Yeah.
But still having something to ground these characters in these stories, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I think the only other MCU or Marvel news that we have is that WandaVision started. I saw Reed H. Cooper asking if we were going to talk about WandaVision. WandaVision on Disney Plus has started, the TV series following Scarlet Witch and Vision. 2 episodes have been out. Have you watched them? Mm-hmm. You've watched them?
Yeah, I did.
They're slow on the pickup. I like the idea that I think that they're playing with, but those 2 episodes are a lot more into the sitcom than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Like, they're legit sitcom episodes.
Yeah. It's laying heavy on it, but I'm interested. Like, it was entertaining enough and interesting that I'm like, okay, I want to see more. I didn't really enjoy it, but it took a little bit to get used to it. Like, because I wasn't expecting that heavy on the actual sitcom. It's literally 2 30-minute sitcoms with a little bit of like MCU sprinkled in. But
and each episode seems like a take on a different sitcom. And Reed H. Cooper is saying that Brady Bunch is next, and the whole series is going to be like that. So it kind of makes sense that like we're looking at the idea of what sitcoms were throughout the years, because each episode seems to get closer to current day, and little things are revealing themselves to Wanda, so that we see that this is like some bizarre alternate that she's in, and she's kind of being brought back to now. It's an interesting way to do it. I know that we talked before in our news that one of the episodes is supposed to be a Full House spoof, which is so meta because our actress playing Wanda is the little sister of Mary Kate Olsen. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I think it's all interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more. And it was really nice that they did 2 episodes right off the bat, because I think after 1 episode was a little vague, and I think getting to the 2nd episode really helped.
Yeah, I completely agree. If they had put just that 1 episode out first, then I think a lot of people would be kind of iffy about it. But you get a better feel of it. First episode was very much like Dick Van Dyke, if you're a fan of the old Dick Van Dyke show. The 2nd episode was Bewitched. 3rd episode, as Reed H. Cooper said in the chat, looks to be like Brady Bunch.
It does,
so we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see all the different ones that they spoof or parody.
Yeah. Next in the news, on the other side of the comic book world. So apparently, this whole time we've been told and we've heard that Zack Snyder's Justice League movie was going to be a 6-part series. But apparently, Zack Snyder said, nope, that's not what's happening. The Justice League is being released as a 4-hour movie. They're just dumping the 4-hour movie.
Which is funny because a 6-part series, you'd actually get more time to do what you want. It seems like he has a lot of ideas he wants to throw in here.
Yeah.
I think that releasing a 4-hour movie is a very risky thing right now. I mean, people are at home and can binge it, and also people are at home and can pause it. So that's the plus. But right after the major failure of Wonder Woman, which was such a long movie and such a long bore, this is going to have to be really good to be 4 hours. To keep your attention, it's going to have to really push it.
P. Brusky says, shaking my head, they just want to slowly ruin DC franchise. Yeah. I know. I like the idea of the miniseries. I like this idea of this like almost episodic thing that we were going to kind of like get a weekly thing. That seems interesting to me. But just dumping the 4-hour movie just feels like, I don't know.
Reed H. Cooper is asking, was Wonder Woman a failure across the board, though? Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. I literally, the only people that I know who have enjoyed that movie are people who are diehard fans of the character. I mean, like really diehard collectible fans of the character who would enjoy anything just because it's Wonder Woman. And that's fine. But otherwise, I don't know anyone who actually appreciates that movie. Like all of my feminist fans don't like it. All of my comic fans don't like it. All of like everyone that I know who are into those things, they're just not. They didn't buy into it.
It's not working for them. Yeah, I didn't hate it that much, but I also didn't really buy into it heavily.
Oh, Reed H. Cooper says, I think it did really well for them financially, though. Yes, because the marketing was great for it. And people, the marketing was great for it. I think everyone was excited for HBO to be streaming stuff early. Not just Wonder Woman, but their whole 2021 slate. So everyone signed up for it for Wonder Woman to begin with, if they didn't already have it. So yeah, financially, it worked out in their favor. I don't think they'd be able to do it again.
Yeah, I don't.
Which means it's a failure.
So, but I'm hoping they learn something from that, and then they go and make that next Wonder Woman better. I don't think they did, because I'm sure they think that it was a success because of all the people who did watch it.
Well, I mean, jumping right into a Zack Snyder 4-hour Justice League movie with Wonder Woman in it says to me that they didn't find it to be a failure. They didn't learn their lesson, but we'll see. I really don't. I was thinking about this Zack Snyder movie earlier, and I really don't have high hopes for it. I think it'll be beautiful. I think the one takeaway from it is that it will be visually outstanding, because that's what Zack Snyder does. He makes iconic shots, but those shots and those characters within those shots usually don't have any substance. So.
Like, maybe Zack Snyder should just be a cinematographer to another director.
I literally tweeted that last week.
Yeah.
I said that Zack Snyder should be a cinematographer and not a director.
Yeah.
Because he makes great shots. He knows how to put together an image.
Imagine like a cool Zack Snyder visual movie with like a really good director. That'd be
awesome.
Yeah, let's call him and tell him that. See if he listens. And Vidich Cooper says the real worry is the Flash being good or not. Yeah, because they're gonna bring old Batman back, and I want that to be good, and I hope it is.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Next on the news, this one made me both sad and happy, in an amused way. Apparently they're building a big set for it's like a little city, like a little village or something for the ObiWan series, in a little town, like west of London somewhere. It's in the UK, and the town people are very unhappy with it. They're very unhappy that they're building this huge, because I guess it's a little town that has people usually film there a lot, and it's this big like old train yard or something like that, like a big piece of land. And normally when they do movies, they're there for like 2 or 3 months, and then they leave and they come back, and it's in and out. But apparently they're thinking that this series could be there. This set could be there for a few years, maybe 3 years. So they're not looking forward to have this giant production Star Wars stuff happening in the little town, because apparently there's trucks coming in and out, and there's all this construction happening, and it's a lot bigger than they're used to. So the residents of this little tiny English town are very unhappy with it.
Just imagine like your neighborhood becoming the set of a movie where it has all that hustle and bustle. Like, it might seem cool for like a couple weeks, but it gets real tiring when you're trying to catch up on sleep and everyone's shooting at 4 a.m. That's unfortunate.
Yep. Next to the news is the fact that Godzilla versus King Kong, or King Kong versus Godzilla, I forget what it's called, is being moved up 2 months. We're going to get to see that sooner. I'm trying to look at the date when it is.
I'm so excited. And it's one of those HBO Max releases. So
HBO Max release,
in theaters and on HBO Max same day.
Yeah, now it's hitting March 26th, just in time for my birthday. So instead of March, April, I guess it was supposed to come out in May. So it's getting moved up 2 months. And we almost didn't get it because this is one of the movies that was fighting to not be released. They wanted to wait, but apparently a bunch of money was exchanged, and they made a deal.
Of course.
And they're like, okay. I mean, because that's really what the movie makers wanted, right? They wanted this movie, the movie, to make money. So they gave them their money, and so they walked away happy. So now it's being released earlier than before.
That's exciting. Yeah, money makes things like that happen.
P. Brewski says,
are you about to say this?
Yeah, Minority Report, I'm guessing. Oh, yeah. Was shot in my neighborhood, and no one slept for weeks. Yep, I bet.
I was about to read that same one because they filmed a scene for Minority Report near where I was working. And they spent like 3 days shooting inside this gap. I was working like 2 stores down from it. And I actually knew someone who was being used as an extra in that scene, so it was kind of funny. They spent 3 days filming there, and it turned out to be a movie.
Wow. Rusty Roboticon says, speaking of Flash, what about the actor playing Cyborg, Ray Fisher, getting pushed out of the movie? Yeah, apparently DC is done.
Is he being pushed out of the movie?
They're done with Cyborg. They've kind of basically said they have no plans to do anything with Cyborg at all anymore. Because
we've been following that news here. We've been talking about how he was like speaking out against the way the actors in Justice League with Joss Whedon were being treated on the set. And he's been very vocal about it, which I've loved because no one else is speaking up about that kind of stuff. And I'm really pissed off right now.
Yeah.
I'm so upset right now.
British Group says even Doom Patrol Cyborg. I don't know about Doom Patrol Cyborg, but I know that they're done basically with the movie Cyborg.
They're done with Ray Fisher, and he was supposed to have his own solo movie as well. Which is so. How is he not in Zack Snyder's Justice League version?
No, he will be in there. It's after that. After that, they're just not going to use him in anything else.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit. And I'm saying it right here. That's some racist bullshit.
It is.
Because everything that's happening has stemmed upon him and other people of color's treatment on Justice League. And he's the one that's been speaking out about it. And they're like, nope.
Yep. It's like that one time. It's like that one time we used to work at Disney and we spoke up out about things and then we got fired. Remember that?
I do very well. Warner Brothers was supposed to be looking into this. They said that they were like officially investigating it. And I have not heard any results from that. So if this is the way that they're leading it, then I'm going to assume that their investigation is over and they didn't care.
Yep.
That's some bullshit.
That is.
I don't even want to watch any more DC movies now, as much as I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
And in case you were wondering, Zack Snyder also said there will not be a post-credit scene for the Justice League movie. I don't know why.
I thought you were going to say there will not be a post-credit scene featuring Cyborg.
No, I don't know why that needed a whole article to tell me that, but it was there. I was like, okay, you could have tweeted that and I would have been fine. One of my
post-credit scenes, I guess, are like part of the culture now.
And to end our news things, I have 2 Star Wars things. One, and a giant big fuck you to Rian Johnson. Mark Hamill has been speaking a lot about how grateful and happy he is with Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian, and how he was treated like a symbol of hope. You know, a positive symbol of hope. And he really appreciated it. And he's been talking. I think he wrote a letter to Peyton Reed. Oh, he tweeted. He said, "Dear Peyton Reed, I am so grateful to have been given the unexpected opportunity to revisit my character while he was still a symbol of hope and optimism. Your assured direction and kindness was a crucial element in the experience, and it means more to me than I can say. P.S. Fuck you, Rian Johnson." So,
Did he actually put yes, fuck you, Ryan Johnson?
No, I added that.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, could you imagine?
Wait, Reader's Group says, wait, slow down. I thought you would let go. Oh yeah, we were. We'll tell you about it later. But yeah, so we've known for a while that Hamill, he's been unhappy with that. But I love that he
he was very vocal about. This is someone else who was vocal about not enjoying the movie as it was being filmed.
Yeah. And then took it back.
He had to backtrack, and I'm sure that was like mandated that he needs to be happy about this movie so we can promote it.
Yeah, but now he can say whatever because we're gonna fire him. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you will not fire Mark Hamill the same way you will fire Ray Fisher.
No,
that's not privilege. And I don't even say that privilege as far as race. I mean privilege as far as the fact that he's Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Yeah. Try firing Mark Hamill. See how that would go for Disney. How would that show up for Disney if I just fired him?
Right.
And another positive Star Wars news. So there's been a bunch of rumors about who might play Thrawn in the upcoming Ahsoka series, and Robert Downey Jr. was like leading that for a little bit for some reason. People were really
for some reason. Could you not picture him in that role?
Kinda. But not like entirely. Like when I read the article, I was like, it never crossed my mind at all that he would play that. But I mean, I was like, if I tried real hard, maybe. But it turns out that possibly the rumor is now that Lars Mikkelsen is gonna play him, who is Mads Mikkelsen's brother, who is the actual voice of Thrawn in the cartoon. So we'll actually get continuity there. Yeah. So
that's cool,
and I love in the cartoon he's so good, and it is the voice acting on it is so perfect. So just transform him over to live action will be really cool because he played him so well. So I would be happy to see that.
Do they sound alike?
Lars and Mads.
And Mads, yeah.
No. Sorry, Lars is being cast. Lars played Thrawn.
Oh, I thought you were saying that Mads Mikkelsen played Thrawn.
No, I'm just saying it's his brother, so you would know who.
That's why I was like, okay.
No, so Lars played in the cartoon, and then Lars is going to play him in the live action. So I'm super excited. I hope it's true.
That's how it should be. I mean, they've already been kind of doing that with some of the other characters, so having their voice actor reprise the role. So the live action role.
I think it's a good move. I feel if physically they can still do it, it's nice to just transfer them over because people are familiar with those things, and it's a nice continuity to go from one to the other. Especially if you're actually trying to keep continuity as you go, it's nice to when you can make it work.
So D.H. Cooper points out that Mads is someone else in the Star Wars verse. He can't do both, which is true. Although the MCU has a lot of the same actors doing different characters, but that's another franchise, another continuity.
Yeah. So I hope that works out, and I hope we see that because I would be super happy. I am already super happy about the Ahsoka show, so I'm happy for this. Cool. That's it for me for news. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. Tonight we're going to talk about some of the movies that I feel like were much, much higher on the list.
Let's do it.
You said, Art, that you were going to go through Letterbox and try to find more movies that you had watched. Were you able to do that?
I say a lot of things, and no one should take me on my word. I did not. I am a dirty liar. That's what I am.
Just a liar. You're not dirty.
I can be. And only if you ask
nicely. That's for a different show. I'm pulling up my list. I've been doing a lot of organizing and updating all my lists on Letterbox, and now my 2020 ranked list is way down, and I have to scroll to find it. There it is.
I am gonna try real hard. So at the beginning of 2020, I said that my goal for 2020 is to watch more movies. That went out the window because 2020 ruined it. But 2021 is I will organize my Letterbox and try to update as much as possible and add things to my watch list, so then I will watch. So when I'm sitting at home and I'm going, I'm bored, I don't know what to watch, I can open my watch list and go, let's watch that.
Yeah. And oh, you have I'm sure you have a free letterbox account. I have a
Yeah.
pro letterbox account just
Yeah.
because I like the service and I want the service to keep running. But if you so with a pro account, I actually can sort movies by where it's streaming.
Yeah, I
and
like
it would
that.
tell me exactly where things are streaming. But if you don't have that, what you can do, because they use the Just Watch service. So what you do is go on your letterbox, find something on your watch list that you're interested in, and then search for it on justwatch.com, and it will tell you everywhere that that movie is streaming.
Okay.
Or if it's available for streaming. Sometimes it's not. But definitely, like the letterbox Just Watch combo is a great combo for finding just about anything you want to watch.
I might pay for the pro. It's only $19 for a whole year, and that might be worth it.
Yeah, it's not expensive. I think it's, if you're doing a lot of movie watching like I am, hopefully like you will be, Art.
Yeah.
Then it's kind of worth it.
If you're in a movie talk show, maybe it'd be worth paying.
And this might be a good year to like try that, watch more things again, because now things are streaming. You don't even have to leave home to watch more things.
I can actually just do it from home. So that'll be exciting. I will try to do that.
So I guess I will lead off. One of my favorite movies of the year was Sound of Metal.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this movie?
No.
It's starring Riz Ahmed. Our popcorn bucket for tonight is Riz Ahmed in the movie Sound of Metal.
I like him a lot.
That's how much I love this character. He's great. And this movie has him as a drummer for a metal band. Well, actually, it's like a metal duo. Him and his girlfriend are this band. And at the very beginning of the movie, he starts to lose his hearing. And so the movie is all about his process being a musician, someone who's very in need of the audio sensory, what he goes through as he starts to lose his hearing. It's a very powerful movie. This is another performance. Riz Ahmed is another performance that everyone's talking about for Best Actor, because he's great in it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recommend this movie enough. And it's streaming on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it today. Although I do have a recommendation we'll get to later for a movie that I think you should watch tonight. But
like
this is
me in general, or just people in general?
People in general, because it's MLK Day. So when we get to our recommendations, I'm going to recommend something. But yeah, Sound of Metal is like an amazing movie. What was that? What's happening?
So, Cucumber is in the next room outside of the podcast room doing another stream for something else, and he is screaming at the top of his lungs, and I can hear him through the wall.
I could hear him.
You can hear him?
That's why I was like, what is that? I thought maybe Amber was sitting next to you or something.
No, it's Cucumber yelling.
What's Cucumber up to tonight? What are they doing?
I have no idea what he's doing. I don't know. This might be a pre-recorded thing, so I'm sure he'll let you guys know when and where to watch it, because I have no idea what's happening.
The chat's all confused as well.
No, yeah, trust me, I'm here and I'm super confused as well.
Reed H. Cooper says, most of the movies I want to watch lately are only available for rental. And I'm the same way. I've pretty much watched most of the things I'm excited for that are available streaming. But there are a lot of movies that people have been talking about needing to be recognized for awards. I can't watch it. It's so frustrating. I'm glad that Judas Tire is coming out streaming right away, because we have Minari that's not streaming anywhere yet, and I'm really excited for that. People have been talking about that forever. Promising Young Woman is now available for rental. I've been hearing people talk about that all year and how amazing it is. It was in theaters for a while, but I wasn't going. out to a theater. So I might have to rent that. Might have to see when it's streaming. Um, uh, yeah, there are a lot of movies available for rent that aren't actually streaming like on any service that I have yet.
Yeah. So I need to pick and
Which is
choose
unfortunate.
what is gonna, because it can add up, right? If it's like 2 or 3 movies, no big deal. But if you start having a long list of movies, it adds
You have
up.
to pick and choose.
Maybe
and there have been a lot.
Yeah, so maybe just go to the store, get yourself a gift card for wherever you buy you rent your movies, and then use that. Because there's been a bunch of movies that I wanted to watch that I haven't, because there was a lot of rentals.
Yeah.
Also, that's not the only reason I wasn't watching movies, but that was one of the reasons I wasn't watching movies.
So what is there anything on your list that we didn't get to last week, or you?
No, I was very
completely finished your list.
I think I was very talkative last week, and we got through all of my list. Oh, no, there was one thing. There's a couple things that we didn't go through my list, which I forgot. This is it was supposed to be a theatrical release, and then it ended up getting dumped on us, which is Hamilton, the Broadway recording of Hamilton. That was kind of a big deal because from the beginning they had said that Hamilton had been filmed with the original cast, and it was a big deal because they made a plan that it was going to be theatrically released at some point, and then nothing. And then it went up for basically old studios bid, and a bunch of people bid a lot of money for this, and because they knew it was going to be a big box office draw. And then Disney won, and they were like, we're going to release it in 2021. They were supposed to release it in 2021 as a summer movie. And then
in the
theaters. And then all of a sudden, pandemic started. They're like, here you go. It was like the nicest thing they've ever done. They were just like, here you go. Let's toss Hamilton in there to make you guys happy, because then we need time suck right now. And they just dropped it.
The nicest thing they've ever done. Like, there wasn't any ulterior motive.
Well, okay, they wanted us to sign up for Disney Plus because
they had this new service.
I give it to them for actually being intelligent and going, look, we're looking at this long run. There's going to be a lot of people staying home and so this is a good opportunity for us to up this service, because they're tossing everything at Disney Plus, and at that time they also didn't have a lot of content, so new content. So this was a really good opportunity. That's actually business wise, it was very smart for them to do, because I know a lot of people did sign up specifically to see this, and hopefully some of them stayed. But yeah, that was a big surprise, and it was a good experience.
Hamilton is definitely the reason that I have Disney Plus right now. Not my choice. My mom wanted to watch Hamilton, so she was like, I'm gifting you a Disney Plus subscription so that I can watch Hamilton. And I was like, okay, that works for me. But yeah, Hamilton was definitely the first big draw for their streaming service. I think that that Onward was probably the next big one, because they released that pretty soon after being in the theater. So between Hamilton and Onward, that was like the big push for the new Disney Plus service.
And I know this is like blasphemy, but I do feel like we should do a little bit more of this. We should be taking some of those Broadway shows and doing something with them so wider audiences can see them. I feel like not everybody gets a chance to go to the theater. And I do think that going to the theater is the experience to do. That is primarily, and for the fact that there are performers, for the fact that there's a whole industry, that people that work there, absolutely. But I would love it if here and there we were able to have something, maybe something that was done. It did its big run, it's done, and now we're gonna do a release. Because some of those shows just go away forever, and we never get to see them. And a lot of people just can't travel to New York to see shows, or can't be here in LA, or can't afford to go to see a show, even if you do live in LA. Yeah, so there are Readers Group says, you know what's horrible? There are amazing film versions that exist, and they don't release them. Yeah, they film so many of them, and they just hold on to them. And I understand that there's just like, I think it's an old way of thinking of the theater. We have to keep it in the theater, and there is some truth to that. But I feel like just as the industry advances and we move forward, we have to kind of change with the times a little bit. And I think there's a little bit of room for some of this. So
there are now streaming services for stage shows, for video productions and film productions of stage shows, like Broadway HD, and I think Marquee TV.
They have a lot of old shows and some newer shows, but primarily it's not a lot of the main stuff. But I did have Broadway HD for a little while, and it have a good stuff amount of stuff. They do have a lot of Cirque du Soleil stuff. So if you wanted to see Cirque du Soleil stuff,
that's cool.
They had. I really want to see Turok, which is the Avatar themed Cirque show that they had. I wanted to see that they had that on there. So there's a little bit of that there. So that's one of the places you can see this stuff.
But I agree that for stage shows, it's very different than watching a movie in a theater. Stage show, the theater is the experience for that show. But being able to stream it just to see the show, if you can't make the screen, if you can't make the theater, then that's a good point. Because not everybody can make it to a theater, and also not everyone can afford to go to some of these shows. Some of the shows get very expensive, especially like they're popular or like brand new. Then you can still kind of see some of that stuff.
I would even be happy with maybe they don't release it on Blu-ray, they don't release it on DVD or streaming services, but what if they did a theatrical run where maybe you didn't pay $100 for a ticket, but you paid $25 for a ticket and went to see a film version of it at a movie theater, like a Fathom event situation, what they do sometimes with operas.
I was about to bring up Fathom events and Fandango. Doing stuff like that. And
they could take some of those shows that are currently running and be able to distribute them that way a little bit. And that way more people can get that situation. What's the popping? We are having some connection issues. That's the Will's connection to him and I.
It is?
Yeah. It happens maybe every like 10-15 minutes. We get like you break up for a second, and when you come back in, it pops. It goes pop.
Oh, I can't even hear that on my end.
No, it's on my end. I think it's the audio cutting in and out.
It wasn't doing that last week, was it? This is new.
No, it did it last week, but it was only like twice during the stream. It is what it is. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we got to figure some stuff out with this new system.
But yeah, I would love to see more of this Hamilton stuff. And I like one of the big things one of the shows that I wish I could see again is the Vegas Phantom, because it was so freaking beautiful. And that's just gone. Never coming back. Never going to be put up the same way as it was in Vegas. And so I would love for that to be back.
Reed H. Cooper is saying he thought the popping sound was cucumber having champagne. That's our continuity. That's what's happening. Every time you hear that sound, cucumber is getting drunker and drunker.
He stopped screaming. That's good.
So we didn't talk about Onward last week since we brought that up. Let's talk about some of the animated movies that came out this year or in 2020. Soul and Onward both came out. Onward was the better Pixar movie. I have to admit, as much as I was looking forward to Soul, there was something about Onward that just had that Pixar moment that tugged on your heartstrings. Mm-hmm. The camaraderie between the brothers. And the fact that we just get dad's ass dancing around the whole movie was a funny in-joke for me. But Onward was surprisingly... I went into Onward... I had the opposite experience with these two movies. I went into Soul, really wanted to be into it, didn't get quite into it. I went into Onward thinking I wasn't going to be into it, and got into it. So Onward's the winner between those two for me.
Definitely. I also had the same feeling when I first saw the trailer. I was like, I'm not interested, not engaged. And watching the movie, it ended up being a cuter movie, and it was the message of the movie was actually very, very heartwarming. It kind of got to me a little bit. Yeah. Onward had more soul than Soul did. Definitely.
It's true. That's a good way to put it. Pixar also put out their short out. Well, they put out a couple more of their Spark Shorts movies that we talked about earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. But Out was the first Pixar project with a lead gay character. And I think I pointed this out in our Soul episode, but it's just weird to me that they had their first gay character in their first black character who were leads, and both ended up having to swap place with the animal. I just think that's very strange.
Yep.
So Out didn't hit me as hard as I was hoping it would either. What's so funny?
Swedish Cooper says, dude, the guy who made Out is hot though.
That is true. I did. I did look up the. I looked up the cast and crew when that short came out, and I was like, okay, I see it. I have to agree, Reed H. Cooper. I did see him.
So that helps.
That helps. That does help. I actually don't think Out had as many problems as Soul did, just because it's a short. You can get away with a lot more things, and it didn't actually double down on a lot of the tropes that Soul did. I thought it was interesting enough. It did grab me the same way that I was expecting it to. A movie that I was not expecting to be as good as it was is Over the Moon, which is on Netflix.
I still haven't
Did you see that one?
No, not yet.
So, directed by Glenn Keane, who is classic Disney animator, responsible for a lot of the Disney Renaissance that we know and love. This is his first time directing. He had actually started directing Rapunzel, but did not end up directing that movie. Although a lot of the work that went into Tangled was because of him. He had I'm not sure exactly why, but he ended up leaving Disney. And so he did this movie Over the Moon for Netflix. And are you just laughing at the fact he left Disney?
All the smart people leave Disney.
Right. He ended up doing this movie Over the Moon, which is on Netflix, and it's got all of his signature things in it that we know from the Disney Renaissance. This Over the Moon feels like what you would expect current Disney movies to be, where current Disney movies don't quite feel like expect movies to be. If that makes you totally get what I'm saying. It feels like a Disney movie. It's better at being a Disney movie than a lot of Disney's current animated movies are. Very sweet, beautiful animation, based in Chinese mythology and culture. Just a really cool movie. So I highly recommend it if you haven't seen that on Netflix.
By the way, all these movies that we talked that I have not watched, I am adding into my watch list as we go.
Cool. That's a good way to do it. Everyone, pull out your letterbox and add to your watch list.
Yeah, if you don't have a letterbox yet, go download letterbox or sign up for it on the website. Does it work on the website too? It does work on the website. And join.
It's free. You can have the premium stuff that I have if you want to pay, but it's completely unnecessary. So it's free if you want to use it. I wish that I was getting royalties for as much as our box, but I am not.
We should call them up, see if they want to sponsor us.
We should. So I have to say, all the good things that I have to say about Over the Moon was still not my favorite animated movie of the year.
What was it?
Wolf Walkers.
Wolf Walkers? Like the dog wolf?
Yeah, like a wolf. So this is a movie. Art, you can watch it. It's streaming on Apple, on Apple Plus. But it's from the production company that did Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea. Yeah. It's very similar to Secret of Kells, actually. It has a lot of similarities to that movie. Mm-hmm. But if you like Secret of Kells, this movie knocks Secret of Kells out of the park. Awesome. It does what Secret of Kells does, but it does it much better. So it's kind of treading similar ground, but it was so well done. Beautiful to look at. Animation is beautiful. Soundtrack is great. It's one of the soundtracks I've been listening to a lot over and over again. Characters are wonderful. Character designs are great. It's got this real moodiness to it, but at the same time, the characters are all cute and charming. So I don't want to say much about it because I know a lot of people haven't seen it, and I want you guys to go watch it and just experience a nice story, a very touching story. So definitely check it out. And it's one of the ones that, I'm not the only one that I've seen say like everyone's expecting Soul to be the big winner because it's Pixar as far as animation for 2020, but everyone that I know has been saying Wolfwalkers over Soul.
Yeah,
so
I love
I'm not the only one that feels that way.
I love that there's a lot of studios it's still trying to maintain the 2D animation, but doing things pushing the 2D animation into the next kind of generation, as opposed to what Disney just gave up on it. What Disney should have done is continue pushing 2D animation forward and do new things with it. Rich Cooper says,
agree.
Since you still have Apple Plus, watch Servant and be confused AF. I've been planning to watch Servant. I'm gonna try that.
Someone mentioned P. Brewski is asking, did you see Fearless on Netflix? And I have not, so I'm actually looking it up. I'm not even sure what it is.
Well, I know what that is, but I don't remember. Why do I? Fearless.
I'm adding it to my list. Thank you.
Is it like the cartoon one? The superheroes? Is that what we're looking at? No, that's not it. Is it? Black superhero. Yeah.
No. I'm surprised. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that it's been under my radar at this point.
Directed by Corey Edwards. Why do I know that name? I guess no good reason.
So that is definitely something that I will check out.
Cool.
But that's pretty much all the animation that I got into this year. Not a whole lot. Other than some of the stuff we already talked about, like Sonic and some of that animation, but not a. I think that 2020 was a year that a lot of animation went into production, and I think we're going to end up seeing a lot of animation over the next few years because of that, a lot more than we have been seeing. But that's so funny. I just opened up my Netflix and Fearless is at the top. Everything's listening to us. But the preview image for it looks really cool. Rita Schubert is saying this animation is really rough. Which animation are you talking about? Let us know. And I have to say, if Fearless is a show, I also tend to lean more towards movies when I'm watching things. Although 2020 was a year that I let myself watch more shows, try to get into more shows. Shows are just such a big commitment for me.
It is.
Reed H. Cooper says it is a movie. I don't know how that slipped under my radar, to be honest. But I will be watching it now. So thank you to everyone. But as far as shows, because like I said, I was trying to let myself get more into shows in 2020. Queen's Gambit, we've already talked about, a show that I loved. My favorite show, I have to mention, if we're talking about 2020 on review, because it hit me really hard, is HBO Max's I May Destroy You, which is created by Michaela Cole, who also did Chewing Gum for Netflix. She actually started to create I May Destroy You for Netflix, and Netflix gave her a really raw deal that she was not okay with. So she left Netflix, found HBO, who gave her a better deal so that she can keep the rights to her own creator-owned story. Because the story is based on her own personal experiences. Netflix just wanted to take all of that creative rights away from her. But she went to HBO, and I feel like this is a very poignant and different kind of story because of the way that she was allowed to create with HBO as opposed to Netflix. Production-wise, it's a great story as far as like fighting to keep your rights and to do things your way. Plot-wise, this show, I May Destroy You, is incredible. It's all about kind of being a survivor but it tells its story through different perspectives and different angles. I think that my problem with a lot of series is that a lot of shows feel a lot of the same from episode to episode, and so I get kind of bored with them over time. Whereas if you just give me like 2 hours of something, I can do it and get into it, get out of it, and it's done. It's one and done. What I really liked about I May Destroy You is the way that the show unfolds itself sort of like an onion. It's got lots of layers. So what happens in one episode, each episode actually works if you watch them separately because they tackle things differently from each other. But if you watch them in order that they were released, then it adds a whole kind of unlayering that is so in depth. And I feel like a lot of shows don't have this anymore. There have been shows that have, but I see a lot of shows that are just like giving you surface stuff. I May Destroy You was so in depth and so robust that I was really surprised. And it's not an easy watch. I'm going to say that. Go in with a trigger warning. I actually had to watch it with another show, which is Legendary. Another show I enjoyed in 2020. Legendary is another HBO Max show that was a voguing competition battle show. So obviously I love that. So Dave and I would watch an episode of I May Destroy You, and it would, like the title does it destroys you. So we would watch an episode of I May Destroy You, get destroyed, and then watch Legendary and get our life back. And it was perfect. Perfect combo for like Black expression and stories. That's the perfect HBO Max combo. But I can't recommend I May Destroy You enough. It's such a great show, but it's rough. So just go in with that warning.
No, I don't like rough shows.
I love rough stuff. I think I find it so cathartic that I get to watch stuff that makes me cry and feel things, because otherwise I'm just a cold-hearted bitch. So not really, but I play one on TV. I play bitch. Yeah, I highly recommend I May Destroy You.
No, it's on all my list.
There was something in the chat that I wanted to read. I thought that oh, here it is. I was like, I know Robert was just in the chat and said something. But I was scrolling and it's disappearing. But here it is. Robert Fisher was saying, I feel the same way. I hate watching a series and feeling that I know they are just dragging the story to fill episodes. Yeah, I can't stand that. That's what I feel like a lot of Picard and Discovery season 1 and 2 were doing. They were just like throwing stuff in there. Discovery season 3, another show that I really got into in 2020. Discovery season 3 is great, and we're going to do a whole episode on that show in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I hate it when shows just are trying to fill things in and it's just not working.
Yeah, if you only need 6 episodes, then just do 6 episodes is better.
So I think I talked about the Small Axe series a little bit.
The what? Small
already.
Axe?
Small Axe. It's a series of movies directed by Steve McQueen that are on Amazon Prime. There's 5 movies, and they all are about the Black experience in Europe. But each movie has a different protagonist, so it tells different points of view of it.
Oh yeah.
They're all great. One, especially Lovers Rock, is my favorite. I know that we're gonna have to like wrap up soon, so I'm just gonna throw a bunch of like really recommended things. These are all my recommendations. Lovers Rock and the rest of Small Axe, but especially Lovers Rock. You guys have heard me talk about His House already on the show.
That's good.
And La Llorona. His House is on Netflix. La Llorona is on Shudder, if you haven't seen it, by Jairo Bustamante. Not the Conjuring La Llorona, but the Bustamante La Llorona, which is an actual Guatemalan film. So good. Those are all in my top 5. All of those movies that I just mentioned are in my top 5s of the year so far. And I think the only other thing I want to mention is that I got to watch a lot of queer movies this year as well, being part of the New Fest Film Festival. And there's a documentary called Your Mother's Comfort, which was amazing, all about a trans political activist, just following her and her experience, which was incredible. And then there's also this comedy called Shiva Baby, starring Rachel Sennett, who's a newcomer who I feel like is about to blow up. So definitely keep a lookout for that movie, Shiva Baby. It was hilarious, and I don't really get into comedies that often, at least not to the point to recommend them. But that movie was really funny, so I must recommend it.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the stuff that we didn't really hit on last week that I feel like are the top ones to recommend.
2021 is going to be a tough year because not only do I have to watch 2021 movies, but now I have to catch up on 2020 as well.
Well, if it takes some pressure off 2020, now that we're out of 2020, you can be lackadaisical about it.
Yeah.
2021 movies are the wave of the future, so that's what we should be focusing on.
I'm gonna go through your reviews on your letterbox and only watch the 4s and 5s. The things that you labeled 4 and 5 stars.
That's a good idea because it's not a lot of them. That will really cut back your your movie watching.
And if I have time, I might dabble in the 3s, but 4s and 5s.
3.5. Letterbox lets you do half stars, so 3.5s are worth watching. 3-star movies are kind of like, eh.
Catastrophe says, I don't do comedies. I prefer emotionally destroyed instead. To be emotionally destroyed.
That is literally me. That's why I say I'm a cold-hearted bitch.
No, I need to be. I'm the opposite. Every once in a while, I need one of those, but generally speaking.
Gooch Camper is asking, how about What We Do in Shadows Season 2, Will? I'm enjoying it. I'm in the middle of Season 2 now, and that show is hilarious. It just gets better and better as we go on. So definitely recommend that on Hulu as well, with Taika Waititi still working on it.
Yeah. I've seen the movie. I need to get into the show. I have not seen
the show. Is worth watching. The other recommendation that I want to make, because it's MLK Day, I actually have not seen this movie, but I think that it's so fitting for right now that I'm going to recommend it. It's One Night in Miami, which just premiered this weekend on Amazon Prime. It is a retelling. It's a revisionist movie. So it's not true historical facts, but it takes history and changes it a little to say, what could have happened. But it's a telling of One Night in Miami where Cassius Clay, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and Malcolm X all spend a night together talking about what's happening with what's happening in the 60s. And it just, it's very fitting, a very fitting movie to watch on MLK Day. And it's also the directorial debut of Regina King, who we like as an actress. So that's going to be my recommendation if you want to watch something relevant for the day tonight.
What was it called again?
One Night in Miami. It's on Amazon Prime.
Night. There it is. One Night in Miami. Adding it to my list.
Pete Bruschi has already seen it and says it is great.
Awesome.
Leslie Odom as Sam Cooke was really good. So yeah, that's what I plan on watching either tonight or tomorrow night. Get to it. But, I'm very excited for it.
Sweet. Cool. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you everybody for joining us. It was a fun 2 episodes to try to get through. There was a lot more than I thought there was gonna be. We were like, we'll do it in 1 episode. Yeah. So no. We will be back next week.
I barely got through 2 episodes.
What are we doing next week, Will?
Next week we are talking about defining pop culture. Like what actually makes something fit into pop culture. That's what we're talking about next week.
Great.
So it's just going to be a free-for-all discussion.
Awesome. And if you guys are hanging out for Perception Paints is up next. We're going to be doing some Pac-Man theme painting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join us. The stream will not go down. If you just hang out here for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we'll be right back, and we'll go right into that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and we will Cinephilia later.
Cinephilia later.